powder, and then all comes shooting out. Okay. So the old flintlock, and I have a friend that works with these. We put the powder here, of course you got down the barrel first, put some powder here, close this, and this is just a simple non-firing replica. The flint is here, you pull the trigger, it slams into that, creates sparks, shoots the sparks down into the pan, powder goes in, lights the main powder. So, two different ways to fire a gun. The beaver trap, well, this guy can hit your fingers, but so we kind of break it first, press the springs, open the jaws, flip the key over. I want that key to find that notch without my fingers getting smashed. Set it up. So these guys are compressed, which holds the jaws open. And then it's not so much bait for food, it's more of a scent. So they get the oil, castoreum, from the beaver's glands itself to use on the next beaver. But the beaver wants to climb up this little mud hill that's above the water, so this will be below water. So maybe 16 inches or so below water, and then this mud hill comes up, and the scent is up here, and he wants to go check out the scent, just figure out if he's got a competitor he's got to fight, or if he's got a date for the night, whichever way that works. But he goes up there, and then he slides down this mud slope, and eventually his feet get trapped and basically drowns. So that's the essence. I have not tried beaver, but I've talked to a couple guys that have. Okay. So let's see if we can guess what this is. That's not too hard, is it? Okay. How about this guy? Face? Yes, that's what my hat is. It's a coyote hat. Okay, how about this one? This is about the full size when I open it up.
Muskrat.
Okay, boy, this must be muskrat country. You got that pretty quick. How about this one? Likes water. Otter. Otter's fur is considered the densest on the planet. And after we dismiss, you're welcome to come up and feel that. There's almost nothing feels like an otter. Okay, how about this guy? You know what that is? Raccoon, yes, we got that. Okay. I'm going to get a little harder now. What about this tail?
Bobcat.
You're in the right department. Yeah, so that dark spot on the tail is kind of the giveaway, because bobcat has usually white in it. Okay? There might be a spot at the end, but bobtails usually have white hair. And this one, tail. Somebody had said it earlier. Ermine, mink type. Okay, good. The face. Recognize that face anywhere, right? And what do we have here? Yes, red fox. Okay. So, this claw belongs to this face. Okay, they like to dig. All right, now, here's another one. Claw belongs to
My wife's fingernail.
this one. Wife's fingernail. Yeah. You better watch out. She's got fingers like
I
that.
think I'll be walking home.
Yes. Okay. Here's one claw. I want you to compare it because I found this quite interesting when I first learned it. Here's another one. So we have a coyote and a porcupine. This is the porcupine, the bigger one. Coyote the smaller one?
They dig and eat bugs and stuff too, don't they? Porcupines.
I don't know, I've never asked them. Okay, black bear. Here's old Ephraim. Quite a difference. The skull there on the table is a black bear, so it's a smaller. Okay, now let's go to teeth. This is the critter that the mountain men went up for. Okay, there's a skull on the table if you want to look at it. Now some of this would be in the gum, so you would probably see about that. So this is black bear. Okay, and this one. Back to the coyote again. Coyote tooth. Now this one throws a lot of people off. It does have kind of a tapered edge there, so it's a grass eater. What do you think that belongs to?
Deer and elk.
Bigger.
Oh, deer.
Moose.
Bigger.
Oh, buffalo.
Bison. Largest mammal in North America. Okay. And this little guy is with this. Quite small and pointed. Yes. Okay. Well, I was at a rendezvous one time trying to start a fire because they have competitions. Fire starting competitions, shooting, throwing tomahawk and all that. And of course they didn't have strike matches back then. And I was going like this. And one of the older guys who came up to me said, you know, if you reverse that, if you strike the stone against the steel instead of the steel against the stone, most of your sparks will go down into the whatever, grass. So I learned something there from one of the older guys. It's important to know where the sparks go, right?
Stone? Is that a rock? Or what?
Yeah, just a flintstone. The cartoon, Flintstones. Okay. And let's say a little bit about the tomahawk, because that was an important piece of equipment, besides a knife. Some of you that throw tomahawk will know this, but typically speaking, like in the TV shows, they just sort of whip this thing, and it almost always sticks. But typically, you want to come out 7 paces. So based on my size and height and stride, that's about the distance I want for one rotation. Generally speaking, that's all you want. And you have to control the spin. So if you throw it about like a baseball, of course I'm not going to throw it, but if you throw it, you want one revolution, and so that it sticks into the wood right about like this. If the handle is sticking out, or if it's sticking, I'll raise this a little bit, if it's sticking in like this, then the guy did okay, but not the best. The best throws from the guys who really know what they're doing, it's going to be parallel to the surface of the wood. That's the ideal position, so you want it to come in and stick like that. Now, if you go farther back, you can throw it different ways. You can throw it backwards, and have it stick upside down. You can throw it underhand, this way, and have it stick upside down. So there are different ways to throw the tomahawk.
So there's some guys that do this when you go to the
Yes.
VFX?
And they would typically get a slab, like a cross-section of a trunk or something, and put a playing card on it, staple it on there. And the idea is to have one throw and split the card in half. So your blade goes through the whole width of the card. It would be sideways. Okay, the card would be sideways. If you split the whole thing, and you've got 2 halves. So that has happened sometimes. Okay? So I think that's the essence of it. I'm going to just do a little survey here. We've gotten everything. Are there any questions that I may not know the answer to? So a lot of them moved, several of them moved to Missouri. Even though Boone came west to Missouri, a lot of these guys went back east to Missouri. I think that was at least 2 or 3 of them that died at their cabins or whatever in Missouri. One was up in Wyoming that died in his cabin. Several you may remember on the chart faced Indians and didn't survive, but some did. So, yeah, you probably have a fairly even mix. They say there were, it depends on who you ask, what book you read, but they generally say there were probably about 300 mountain men that kind of made it their life for a while up in the mountains, off of the beaver pelts. And then fashions changed, so Paris and all them wanted silk hats. And the beaver had been pretty well thinned out, not, extinct of course, but thinned out. And the era was basically over. A pelt would sell for just $1 or $2. When you consider the original pelts started off at about $5 a piece back then, that's pretty good money. And if you could bring home several hundred, maybe even a couple of thousand pelts from one season in the woods, you were doing excellent. Mr. Astor, I think, he went down with the Titanic, but he became a millionaire largely off of beaver pelts. He was not a trapper, he was kind of a tradesman who hired trappers. And they brought him to him, and he became a millionaire. Largely, not solely because of beaver, but largely because of it. So we are not too far from mountain man roots. As you hear the names, Trinidad and Bensport, Florissant. The Florissant, have you checked the kiosk as you go into town there from the east going west? The kiosk says Kit Carson observed at this point, or on that hill right nearby, the Comanche fighting the Ute or somebody, yes. So, he was in Florissant apparently. Okay. Well, I like the story because it was kind of a time of ruggedness, a time of exploration. Of course, the Native Americans pretty well knew what was there, but the Europeans did not. And it wasn't too much after this that 9 years later, after it wrapped up, you've got the California Gold Rush, 49. And then here they come, by the thousands and tens of thousands. Incredible story. But it kind of first opened up shortly after Lewis and Clark, and then you had Zebulon Pike, not too far later after that, just several years after that, and then the mountain men started to come in because of largely fashions. And the fashion change kind of is what brought it largely to a close, besides getting harder to find beaver.
Did they eat the meat of the beaver?
I'm not aware that they did.
I've read that the tail is what everybody would be after because the tail is super fatty.
Yes,
So
beaver tail.
They just put it in a pan, fry up the tail, and eat that.
You consider it as a rodent, but they have to keep eating because otherwise those teeth just keep curling, growing, and it can cause damage to their mouth and gangrene to the beaver. So it's not so much that they're industrious, though they are to some degree, but they have to keep those teeth worn down. You do that by chewing wood. I've never tried it, but that's what the books tell me. Now, if I were going to recommend it, like a movie for that, the first part of Into the West is pretty good, and Jeremiah Johnson's pretty good too. Yeah. So, and by the way, try to keep your scalp. I was not too successful. Okay, well, folks, I'm glad you were able to come. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And you can look at the table and stuff, and none of that's. I will mention one thing, please. Can you guess what this one is? This one, I was in Montrose at a little community rendezvous, and I was giving a talk on this. I had all these things laid out, and I said, "What's this?" And this 13-year-old girl, within 2 seconds of me asking the question, she goes, "Boom," and she got it.
ringtail cat.
So are you gonna be outdone by a 13-year-old?
Yeah.
Any idea?
Oh.
It looks like some type of fox.
You're on target, sir. Bill? Yes, I got this from a trapper, and he said silver fox. Now, sometimes the herald change colors depending on the season, the time of year, but that's a silver fox. Oh, what I was gonna say. The only thing that's kind of for sale, if you want to, this is a pictorial summary of just about everything I've said. Is here in pictures, you're welcome to look at it. Because of color copy costs, we have to sell these for $15. But you're welcome to look at them. If you want one, let me know. And there you go. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming to our historical presentation. Next month, we have another one. It's going to be held here at the church, and it's going to be President Roosevelt. And he'll be also a gentleman dressed in period costume, and he'll portray himself as the president. So we'd like to see you all back. Bring your neighbors, bring your family, and come back and join us. Thank you.